placing the life force into our hands.
Welcome to the Movie Summary channel. If you like the featured video, please watch it full to the theaters near you or buy the original movie at the link below the description. Movie Summary does not condone piracy and falls under the fair use law. Now, let's enjoy the video.
The film opens like a fairy tale, with the narrator talking about a young woman named Marie Joseph, who was born and raised in a convent. She is a rebellious free spirit who often causes trouble for the nuns, but mainly the abbess. In France, Marie Josephine's father, King Louis XIV, is preparing to give a speech to the French citizens, but an assassin fires his weapon at Louis. He is hit but unharmed as the man is apprehended. Fearing for his own mortality, Louis is told by Dr. Labarthe that there is a special underwater creature who possesses magical powers that can grant him immortality. Louis sends for a group of fishermen, led by Captain Yves de la Croix. They encounter the creature, a mermaid, and proceed to capture her with a net. Her mate is also caught and attempts to fight off the fisherman, but Yves simply lets him go back into the ocean before heading back to France. Labarthe tells Louis that the procedure to make him immortal is accomplished during an eclipse and involves cutting out the mermaid's organ. The only one against this is Father François Lachaise. Per the king's request, Lachaise sends a message to the convent where Marie Joseph is living, and the abbess is eager to get rid of her. Lachaise travels to the convent to bring the girl back with a crew, giving her the impression that she travels to play music in Versailles. Marie Joseph arrives in Versailles and is amazed by how beautiful the city looks. She befriends a servant named Magali, but everyone else who doesn't know she is the king's daughter looks upon her as a common outsider. The following morning, Louis meets with Jean-Michel Lintillac, son of a wealthy baron. Lintillac tells Louis that his father is gravely ill and ready to pass on. Louis discusses with Lachaise that Lintillac stands to inherit a fortune, and passing down his father's title would benefit everyone. While out for a stroll with Magali, Marie Joseph notices others staring at her. They go to a fountain where she sees Yves for the first time and is smitten. When Louis and his men arrive, Marie Joseph loses balance and falls into the fountain. Lintillac pulls her out, and she meets her father for the first time, though he still doesn't tell her his relation to her. In the meantime, Marie Joseph is set to practice music, since it is one of her skills. The men bring the mermaid into a chamber beneath the castle. Louis learns that she is despondent and gloomy after being separated from her mate, and he orders the men to get her well so that the procedure may go through without a hitch. Later, as Marie Joseph tries to practice in her room, she senses a vibration against her harp and follows the noise she hears. It leads her to the chamber where the mermaid is being kept. Marie Joseph meets the mermaid and is stunned by her. Yves comes by to catch her, but Marie Joseph says that the mermaid is making some kind of musical noise, which she syncs up with her violin playing. The next day, Marie Joseph plays music with the royal troupe before Magali helps her get ready for a ball later that afternoon. Everyone is in awe of Marie Josephine's beauty, and she shares a dance with Louis in front of everyone. She later finds him outside, painting a picture of his late wife. He tells Marie Joseph that she reminds him of her. Louis appoints Lintillac with the title of Duke, and later holds a dinner in his honor. Yves and his crew discuss their tale of sailing to capture the mermaid, to which Lintillac makes snide comments, prompting Yves to fire back with more comments that offend him. After the dinner, Marie Joseph goes to visit the mermaid again and goes underwater to be closer to her. Yves later takes Marie Joseph to ride horses, but she falls off and severely breaks her arm. Labarthe states that the arm will need to be amputated to prevent infection, even though everyone thinks there must be another way. Yves later carries Marie Joseph along with Magali to see the mermaid and places her in the water. The mermaid uses her powers to heal Marie Josephine's arm completely. Yves and Magali are amazed at the mermaid's true power. After seeing how Marie Josephine's arm has healed, she assumes that Louis has brought the mermaid to France to heal the citizens from sicknesses, but she is told that the mermaid is for the king's purpose only. She later walks around the courtyard with Yves, and the two share a kiss. Louis arranges for Lintelak to marry Marie-Joseph so that they can share in Lintelak's fortune. Lachaise summons Marie-Joseph after she spends more time with the mermaid, who took her swimming. Louis comes clean to Marie-Joseph about him being her father and then tells her that he wants her to marry Lintelak. She refuses and runs away, crying, leaving Louis feeling remorseful. Lachaise goes to visit the mermaid, and she communicates with him telepathically. Realizing she is a living creature with feelings, he confronts Labarthe about killing her to fulfill the king's wishes, but Labarthe fully plans to go ahead, regardless. Lachaise brings his complaints to Louis, who also refuses to change his mind. Meanwhile, Marie-Joseph goes to see the mermaid herself, and she shows her a vision of Eve being the one to capture her. Eve slips the picture of the procedure under Marie-Joseph's door, alerting her to the king's real plans for the mermaid. She trashes the musical instruments and then confronts Louis over his plans. She says that she will marry Lintelak if he lets the mermaid go, but he refuses to honor her wishes. As everyone prepares for the wedding, Lachaise goes to Marie-Joseph's room to quietly bring her to save the mermaid. The two go to the chamber where Eve is also trying to get the mermaid out. Although Marie-Joseph reminds him of how he captured the mermaid, he is committed to setting her free. They are found by Labarthe and another goon, but they fight them off to give the mermaid time to escape. Labarthe shoots Eve, who falls into the water. The mermaid pulls Eve with her as she swims out. Marie-Joseph gets Labarthe caught in a rotating wheel that pulls him underwater. Marie-Joseph makes it to the side of a cliff where she sees Eve is okay. Louis and his men arrive and prepare to shoot the mermaid to go through with the procedure, but Marie-Joseph gives Louis the choice to save his own life or his daughter's. She jumps off the cliff and hits the water hard enough to injure her severely. The mermaid grabs Marie-Joseph, and Louis has no choice but to tell his men to stand down with their rifles so that the mermaid can revive Marie-Joseph. She and Eve swim to his boat while Louis watches them leave, and the mermaid swims home. Lachaise tells Louis he is now a great king and a great man. Marie-Joseph and Eve sail to find the city of Atlantis so that Marie-Joseph may reunite with the mermaid, and she takes her underwater to see the city up close.
Placing the life force into our hands.
Thank you for watching our featured video here in Movie Summary. I hope you have enjoyed watching our videos. Please click the like and share buttons to share the video to your families and friends, and please subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Click the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever we upload new videos. Bye for now, and see you in our next videos.